Yeah, I went and checked. The other is Mula again. So we're coming back to Sagittarius a lot here. This Nakshatra is everything to do with Nirhuti, which is very much like Kali energy. And so in the Mula again, and I wouldn't even say laborers. I would say physical work, yes. Gathering people even. There's a gathering connected to root work there. So any work that you do that's physical brings you into contact with people who have, who are looking after maintaining. Yes, like I have amongst my businesses, I have a home cleaning business that I run and I operate, and all of the murder victims in my life that need my help from the other side, and I collect evidence for them and stuff and reconnect family relationships and stuff. So they all came to me through the homes and the people in the homes that I've cleaned for, right? So there's something with the root work there as well. But okay, so we're getting very much into between worlds energy in the physical, in the extreme deep magic earth way, because you Taurus are about deep magic, because you're making things that are spiritual manifest in the physical. And again, and we tie that with the burying and the digging up of Scorpio. Okay, but again, and then there's Mars energy that rules in the nakshatras. There's Mars energy that rules this Mula nakshatra. So we have Kali coming through. So it might be a relationship. We do have this 1111. We do have these. This, what I would say, your wake-up call. Your wake-up call to knowing your full chart. But you have to be you need accurate information for that. Oh, interesting. The deck, I had turned this over. I checked it, and it had the star in reverse. So you might be feeling very unprotected right now. So the question is, if this is stuck or it's squaring off and it's pushing, which makes sense because your guides are never going to quit on you. But if it's squaring off with this whole situation and the Knight of Pentacles, this information that needs to be known, this unearthing, because obviously being... Oh, I wanted to point out when I was setting the deck up, yeah, the King of Pentacles was right underneath the Four of Swords as well. And this King of Pentacles is in the upright. So, this king versus this masculine versus this feminine energy. Right. Deep magic work over here being affected by swords, but the necessary change. This was looking like the necessary change. Okay, slapping up in the deck, the Two of Wands in reverse. Interesting, that came out for me in a personal reading the other day. With the Ace of Wands in reverse also. So more Aries energy. Again, this decision, this direction to take. But further to being awake. This is the cosmic wondering where the heck you're going. And with emphasis on Aries as well. Multiple burdens on your shoulders, right? Because we end up with the Ten of Wands. So I feel like with all the Sagittarius energy coming through, you might not realize that it's those 10 wands. You might not realize that there are actually 10 directions that need to be maintained simultaneously. And hence the need to go up this tower, look at it from the top, and then the root work of look at it from the bottom. These betrayals. The South Node, though, the opportunity away from, and then making the most of what you've done. Like there's so much on the table here. I didn't go looking to put lots on the table. That's how it comes out. And we do need to dig deeper. So they want you to dig deeper. Where? Let's see if we can, if they want to say where. Now, if they don't say, it's because they'll say quietly to you as privately as possible, because again, the danger of saying too much out loud and then it gets sabotaged by the eye in the sky, right? It can, this earthly authority that is monitoring everything, and they need it to succeed, right? The failure is not an option. So they'll tell me as much as they can tell me, and it's tying very much to Kali. Like I've got two. This is the Kali Nakshatra, and we've referenced Mula Nakshatra, which is a Kali Nakshatra. So the Kali's star, Bharani, is Kali's particular star constellation. Yamas, but tied to Kali. So this could be very much tied to working with her. And she is all about protecting children. She's all about the dirty work. She is all about the stuff. If you're on a trajectory, if you've been on a path in life where there's been a lot of physical work that you've had to invest in at the same time as following your heart's bliss, following, what really the magic stuff, right? And then pulling it all together. She teaches very harsh lessons. This is work. It's scary work. It's scary work is what it is. But scary good. But absolutely. Okay. So you got to go looking. Here we have the energy. This is for me Scorpio and Gemini energy. By all rights, not Scorpio, because it's clearly swords energy. It's not in the upright. Yes. It's aspecting. So there's a process. It's in process is what I would say. So you've been looking. Now, for me, this is again, third house. So it's repeating this energy, but it's putting an action to it. It's saying somebody needs to investigate. You need to be investigating now. Leading us over here. Instability with those 4 swords in reverse. Because that's more Gemini again. So I feel like there are people that are going to disagree with you. I feel like it's going to... Because we have this whole social setting here. So there's a separation that needs to happen, possibly from this group. Again, I'll get one more tarot card and then we're going to go over to the oracles for clarity. No, so many want to pop out there. But yeah, this person loves to be underestimated. This person loves to pick their moment. Let things... They're going to watch, right? They're going to watch and they're going to see how other people are behaving. So that might have everything to do with this situation over here and this situation, right? And the perspective of the king, right? To have that ownership and the self-control. And so you wait and see and you let them talk and you let them find out what you need to know. And then you can act. then you can decide, like, then you get the ace, then you get that sword, and you get that ace of wands. So the direction you need to go in is tied to what you need to know. These keys that you need to unlock. Okay. And then we got kings, this king looking to that king. But this king obviously on top of this situation. So once all of this has been fulfilled, then the king knows what direction to go in, has the plan. Sagittarius energy again. So 9th house energy. But obviously, you know, yeah, I'll put the emphasis on houses. Jupiter energy, turning the wheel. Turning the wheel. So what we have here is a progression of events that are necessary, I do believe. And the king, this king has the perspective, knows. Yeah, this king is the king with the plan. Got the lizard or salamander. Lizard as far as I know, but if it's a salamander, either way, there's protection here, but there's also revelation. With the 9 wands down, there could be exhaustion. There could be physical suffering, right? Heavy crossover energy between Hermit and Aquarius. Aquarius as basically the sage, as the mystic. But there's also, because of Ganymede's story, and because of the Nakshatras that line up with it, there's, now of course I'm looking at Virgo now, so you're like, why are we talking about, again, time sensitive, time space sensitive, time lord issues. We have, okay, we also have the forbidden path in Chitra. The 4th pada of Chitra, amongst other things, speaks of the forbidden path of knowledge. And when I put it in the chart, when I create a tarot chart, this lantern lines up exactly with that star, that pada of the Chitra Nakshatra. So this lantern actually illuminates the forbidden path. It does have the 6-pointed star in it, which is all to do with Vedic health, circulatory, all the different systems of the body. But if we're looking at, if we're looking at things, so the question is, and it's going to be different for each of you, what needs to be known? But again, that sense of humor, you're powered by your own command, you brought yourself here. I mean, that's speaking very much to, see how, yes, because you've done it while they are working back and forth, yes? And you have to decide, but you need the right information to be able to decide. Hummingbird song. I'm not clear yet where to put that. It's probably somewhere with these 4 wands. But yeah, you're not finished. You've got to dig deeper. Well, that has everything to do with, of course, the Scorpio energy, even the Virgo energy. So let's put that there. Oh, we've got the moon right underneath. 10 Pentacles, the story here. Look at this. Okay, we're doing something similar to Leo again, where the deck all of a sudden just started telling me the whole story, right? Like they organized the whole deck. Okay, so obviously thorough magic. Now, do we want to take this as Cancerian or Piscean? If I'm going to take it astrologically, then it's Cancerian. But safe passage, absolutely. Others, you know, put the emphasis on something's hidden, there are fears here. But for me, I think anyone with strong water placements, this is our happy card. This is our sun card. You have, the moon is there illuminating the path. And it's safe to come out of the water. The lobster's out of the water, right? And it's like, yeah, you don't come out of the water if it's not safe. So for everybody that doesn't resonate with water energy and just sticks to what Edward Arthur Waite wanted you to think, never mind that they speak with forked tongues often enough. And he didn't give Pamela Coleman Smith her due credit for these very important, I mean, you're not going to have cards without the pictures. So thank you, Pamela, as always. Which is making me think of the African prophetesses, who were the real Delphi oracles and who basically led all the Mediterranean empires for 6,000 years. Who do you believe in? Who are you following? Whose will? What is God's will? And what is your will inside that will or against that will? All of that, right? The story you're here to tell. You got to remember what your story is. You got to know what your story is. Capricorn and 10 of Pentacles for me is Capricorn and 10th house. And 10th house turns out to be all about the story, the bigger picture of who you are. And how it plays out, what you do, even beyond this world, right? Because I've got the Queen of Pentacles right there. Both are in reverse. So, because we've got the Queen of Pentacles over here in reverse, there's been this control. Oh my God, I didn't even see Venus right underneath her. I went straight, you know, when you saw when I was going through the deck, I went from her to the 7 of Swords, the Libra energy, which is repeating the 6 of Swords. Getting what you can out of the situation, just like with this harvest and a sickle. Here she is, working away. Now we've got Pisces coming up, the sun entering Pisces. Okay, so this could be Pisces season, where this is going to be remembered. This is what's on deck. And your own ruler, Venus. Now, who is Venus? For me, the mother god. Pushing, pushing, pushing. Now Venus is entering Capricornus, has entered Capricornus with Mars. They are shoulder to shoulder right now. Oh my God, and then we've got, I didn't see, okay, so 2 things I didn't see. And if you go back, you'll see that I didn't see. I went from this to this. So we got Neptune right here. And being stuck to gain the insight. So something to do with Easter, because I mean obviously Christ, Jesus on the cross, Yeshua on the cross. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go get into the hummingbird song we still need to solve. Let me just get this whole story down over here. So we have a question over here of, okay, that necessary change, that instability in the 3rd house. I'm going to stop. That's where I have the question mark, was whether it's Cancerian or Piscean. So I'm going to end with the Cancerian card, because we do have a card of trying to understand there and accept. And it's a family situation, or it's a community situation involving also your guides. And it's another 4. So I'm going to say over here that there's a whole situation over here involving so many other people. That's what I'm going to say about that. Because we have all of that underneath this. Yes. Plus the star reversed. So there's something that's uniquely yours to do. There's something about their timing and their charts. But if you don't do this thing at the right time, at the right place. So this could be about separation from the group in order to accomplish this Houdini move. Okay, so let's get into the oracles. This particular deck. I have all of her decks, almost all her decks. I want to say Spirit Dreaming is her website. Come on. Yep. Spirit Dreaming. .com. And this is her. Amazing, amazing. The most powerful human on earth, as far as I'm concerned right now. Okay, so I'll hold the card up. Get it in focus there. Actually, I want to hold it back a bit, don't I? There we go. And then get my arm out of the line of shadow. Okay. Father Sky is the spirit of the night and the day, the moon. There we go with the moon. The stars and the sun. He represents all that is above the ground. Okay, so out into the endless universe and beyond that which we cannot see. Father Sky is the seer of dark and light. Now, I don't equate dark and light with good and bad, or bad and good, because dark and light belong to a spectrum. I'm a drawing instructor. Good and bad do not belong to a spectrum as far as I'm concerned. But she's not necessarily equating those things in this sentence. But she does follow dark and light with good and bad. Yet with his eternal wisdom, he does not judge. Be fair in making your decisions. Okay. Okay. Be fair in making your decisions. So there's this King of Swords right there. As people are looking to you for guidance and support. Be respectful in your judgment and don't neglect to see the entire picture. There's much more information you're not aware of at this point. Okay, it's just after. Oh, thank you. Make some more inquiries and listen to your intuitive feelings. Now, intuition is a non-word. It means to know something without knowing how you know it. Either you've done the work and the research and your mind is connecting dots, or somebody's telling you something, or somebody's telling you something psychically, and you're being psychic. There's no need to settle on a word that doesn't... I think people just don't pay attention to the definition of intuition enough to recognize that it's it's a weak replacement for psychic, okay? Or saying that we don't know how our minds work, but we do. And I don't mean that as she probably doesn't have the issue with the word that I have, okay? But that's what I want to clarify intuition with. There are ways that you know things. There is certainty. Nothing needs to be a mystery. Just know that if it's being psychic, if this is where you need to get specific about who your guides are. And if you don't know who they are, and if you need to find out. In an attempt to gain further insight into this situation, your judgment in this matter will last beyond a single event and will influence many people around you. You're seen to be a role model by others and have gained respect due to your past actions. Take your time in this situation and give yourself a few more days until you make your final decision. It will be worth the wait. Interesting. So what is this situation? It's definitely a situation. You know it. You know it. Do you know it? But that is completely what's going on here. That completely explains everything that's going on in this, that there are people that, okay, so you need to know that there are people that are controlled. Okay, you need to know that there's a necessary change. This has Virgo energy, so it's everything to do with space-time sensitivity, this Five of Pentacles. Again, yeah, it's in the upright with the instability. So some kind of stormy situation, right? But this could be pentagram related in terms of health. It could be the truth about the healthcare system. And that all goes back to go into Ayurvedic medicine. Ayurvedic is a new term, but it's not the right one. But if you go into, right? Okay. Because it's making me think pentagram, which I realize is all your own energy. But that's heavily healthcare. Again, and with the swords bringing us to the rod of Asclepius and Hermes staff, which with the single snake and the double snake, the DNA helix, that the snake coil around the staff goes back to the African prophetesses who were the healers. Their legacy gets stolen in the story of Medusa, in several stories, Medea as well, Adam and Eve, Medea and Jason. But Athena takes the snakes from Medusa's head, yes, because the Pythoness was the name for the oracles, the African oracles. And they did have, the snake, very sacred energy, right? And life, cycling. But Athena takes the snakes off Medusa's head once Perseus slays Medusa, right? And they're medicinal and poisonous, and gives them to Asclepius, right? And so he can start his medical practice with snakes and all that stuff. And that's how we end up with the World Health Organization having a single snake around a staff. His Asclepius' staff, it's not. It's the African prophetesses and the healers who were the Pythoness. The Sibyls. So Sibyl's Oraculum by Tiana Lee McQuillar. And Kathleen Fossey. Gotta get it right. But Mami Wata, Mama Zagabe, those are names to look up. They've got channels. Mama Zagabe has the MWHSNA, I'll link it, channel. But the double that is the caduceus in the Two of Cups in this deck, that's Hermes, Mercury's staff, and it's actually a commercial symbol. So anytime you see the medical professions using that, you know that they're primarily commercial, for profit. But that's possibly the instability here, the information that needs knowing. So you've got a King of Pentacles, a major player who is able to answer for him or herself, their self. Okay, you have the Knight, somebody younger or somebody further down the chain that is controlled, easy to believe, because they're further down the chain, and you have somebody at the top who is also controlled. Okay, these things you need, if you need affirmation that they are controlled or not controlled and can answer for themselves, then that's how that rests. And here's the background, the season work on that. Okay, so hopefully you have some answers. There's trouble, but there's protection. There's a group situation that you got to get out of, or that you are out of now, and this is why. You need the perspective. You got to do what you can with what you've done, because it is time-space sensitive. So hopefully this is all affirmations, because there are keys. Like, obviously, if it's you in this king position, which is what we have all of these betrayals, but the south node, the opportunity as well. So it's planetary. This could be Taurus season, but a contract could be over. But again, the emphasis on these keys that are at the bottom of his robe, as far as the information that's been hidden that needs to be found, which is what the emphasis is on this all. Absolutely. Okay, so, and this was what was in your chart. It's big part of why you're here on Earth you are the one that finds these things. You are the one that gets these puzzle pieces. Okay. Now, I have a feeling more and more that this is what it's leading to. Okay, so what I'm going to do is read for... I'm still not clear. Well, we've got the root work. I'm going to put it, they're all going to go together 3 times. 3 times the thing needed to be told. What did I say? 3 times the thing needed to be told. So I'm going to put the 3 together. Okay. So, and then we have the 10 of completion and the 1 of starting fresh with this card. Now, Susan does a very wonderful, unique thing with her cards. She does a planetary spread, which interestingly enough does not include the Mars position. But we can make that up as we go, because Mars are your loves and loyalties, things that you'll protect. So I'm going to read the paragraph for that card that she's written, one for each of those positions. And I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm really particular with what cards I bring into my work. And this might not be past life. As far as I'm concerned, it might just be who's communicating with you, right? So that's how she does a layout. I'll hold the card up and we'll get into it. The sun position for me. Let me just get, and that's card number 10. Okay, and then see, we have the moon there. Yeah, so this heavy emphasis on this connection with Father God, as opposed. But what's interesting is we don't have the Emperor showing up. We have the Empress showing up. Now we have Emperor connected to this King of Wands, absolutely, and of course most of all through this King of Swords. So there might be the element of being trusted to speak on behalf of the masculine god. Okay. In the sun position, which for me would be your instincts and triggers. And that's just like we're leaving Aquarius now, soon. So that King of Swords position is soon to become the King of Cups position. Which, did I go that far? Yeah, I did, didn't I? I went as far as we've got Queen of Cups at the bottom. Okay, or at the top. You're becoming more intensely aware of building a foundation for the rest of your life. Traditional values seem worthy of your respect. You're weary of the tentative or free-floating feelings of the last few years. In order for a tree to flower and grow, it must have strong roots. There we go with the roots. This is a good time to search out the wisdom of your parents or ancestors, or anybody's ancestors that are reaching out to you, yes? Although mistakes may have been made, now is the time to break the cycle of negativity and wipe the slate clean. Learn to reconcile the conflicting forces inside you. Without paradox, truth cannot be found. And it's very true. I love paradoxical thinking. Not that she'd write anything that wasn't true. Okay, so I'm going to need to flip the page on this one. But in the moon position, and for me, the moon is your conscience. In Vedic, it would be the way your mind works. Jyotisha. But for me, and not that your conscience isn't how your mind works, but that's how I take it. There's a strong need to seclude yourself in this position. Now, and one position should resonate with you more than the others, right? So it's not, each position is not going to resonate with everybody. You may get a strange, lonely, resonant, and distant feeling about others during this period. Your family calls upon you for help, but you feel compelled to retreat. Your soul radiates the impression that you must be alone. However, and this is going to line up completely with the Father Sky, okay? And the rest of the reading. It's important right now for you to immerse yourself in being a member of your tribe. So that's the time, place, sensitivity. If it feels like we've got the Hermit there, what you need to be doing, and if the Hermit needs to move, needs to step back in, right? That's lining up. In the Mercury position, which will be for me your mind and your imagination, so your whole problem-solving center, yeah? So between what you know and what your mind can do and all the psychic information, the connections. You're now showing interest in personal history and family traditions. You seek to evaluate the wisdom and learning of those who have gone before you. The mind takes an inward turn and you're focusing on your own point of view. Okay, so there we go with that tower. I'm going to just get the focus, the tower, right? The point of view. I feel like that's where the hummingbird energy is coming in as well. Okay, let's see what else, what other dots I can connect. Focusing on your own point of view, it's hard for you to understand the depth and complexity of your feelings. It seems as if the actions of your mind and heart are unrelated. To solve this problem, it would be beneficial to turn your attention back to the interests you held as a small child. Hummingbird energy indeed. Okay, here's where your heart and mind will find harmony and truth. And with how much pressure on you to do that. That Two of Swords in reverse to the Ace of Swords. And this Page of Swords energy. That's all childhood energy. When it comes to what makes you happy, your interests as a small child, very much Aquarius energy. So there you have the King of Swords repeating. Yes, okay. And of course the Two of Wands reversed. Yeah, okay. So then we're going to move into the Venus position. It would be interesting to know what the Mars position would be. We'll come up with that. Your loves and loyalties, well, tied to what interested you. Okay, so in the Venus position, which would be your appetites, attractions, your needs, you're feeling the need to maintain a long-standing, secure relationship. Choosing the Jukun Akuma mask indicates a period of settling in. You've become tired of the chase. You currently desire a relationship that's more secure and substantial. You're beginning to put things in order. Intimate involvements will be approached with more depth and stability than passion right now. Be careful not to mother/smother your mate, father, or smother your mate, child or friend at this time, right? Because anyway, give them room. Everyone will appreciate it in the long run. Because it's a very strong inclination, but it's an inclination that takes takes responsibility for a situation in ways others haven't been taking responsibility. So then how not to overshoot, if that applies to you. We do have those 4 wands can mean more than one thing, right? And with that Hierophant, absolutely. Okay. Just double check. Yeah, because by your own power, well, all the people that are involved, but by your own power. Okay. So if we go to the Saturn position, which would be even more maternal energy as far as I'm concerned, and it's your fears, boundaries, and calculated risks. So if you think of the World card, which has everything to do with, I would say, if we're looking at that Garden card in reverse, yeah. Yeah, plus the 10, yeah. Okay. Let's see here. It's important that you define your objectives and ambitions. You can sense the need for a new order in your home environment and may feel an obligation to family members. This is a good time to build a strong foundation and recognize the true intent of your past motives. That's some pretty scary work indeed. Detail work. You may feel as though you've been living in a dream world for the past 2 or 3 years. The sad, wistful feeling you're experiencing will soon come to an end. Avoid the temptation to put things off. It's possible to waste your entire life in procrastination. Yes, failure is an option. We are up against it. So, avoid. So yeah, detail work. Staying on task. And I've been tempted to just stay asleep more and more because of what I have to wake up to do. So here we have the Uranus position, which would be all your unique interests and skill sets and your areas of nonconformity. Be careful of people who try to milk your pity. Yeah, this is where I got into an alternate interpretation of what she's saying, or what she's wanting to say. I'll read hers out and then I'll come in with mine. This card selection recalls a past life where you were physically enslaved or owned by another person or group. Your particular genius is an inordinately sensitive intuition that can be used for healing. You may be going through a period of necessary emotional distress. Try not to be so vulnerable. So it's necessary distress to take you to the next level against all the enemies on this earth. Because if you're doing anything shamanic, right? But what came to me when I got this card for Leo was a history of forced charity. If you go to Leo's, I think the middle reading for Leo, I won't get into a whole paragraph with you here, but no, the idea being that because they had a similar situation with so many cards of a backstory coming out even more, that the sense was, did people use you to feel better about themselves in any way? Just like so many mission organizations do. They use victims to help create new, like to reinforce the victimization. They're there for multinational corporations. It's part of the genocide. And so that's different from people who milk your pity. That it was an interpretation that I got strongly given when she went into the past life being enslaved, because it triggered reactions from me being, I've had a life, I can't say enslaved, but imprisoned, yes, and very vulnerable to people's ideas of charity. because my mother was dying all through my childhood. Very powerful woman who was a classical singer, an opera singer, compromised by her cancer battle. And so it's my experience as somebody who has been I'm thinking post. So if you've been enslaved, well, what we're talking about is people who are going to get you to bleed out your energy on them. But it is very specific. So if you do have a past life, or you're connected to people who were slaves or owned, well, that's slavery, then you need to know how powerful you are to be that targeted. Sloan Bella, the psychic, she has her channel, Sloan Bella. She's very good. She's in her 50s now, and she's been an active professional psychic since her teen years, and she was a runaway teen from a wealthy adoptive family who treated her like crap. And she can see many things, always has been able to. She knows that slavery in this world is basically set up outside this world, and whole generations can be sold into slavery by their ancestors. In this prison planet. So there might be something that she says that can help you. If that's at all anything useful for me to say. Let's finish up with the Pluto position, and then we'll get to Wild Kuan Yin. Pluto position is actually where I find your professional guides to be. That's what they've led me to understand. So, but you need an accurate chart, an uneven zodiac in your chart to be absolutely certain as to where you're, and it needs to start on the Aldebaran star. That's what it needs to be set to when you're getting your chart. Sidereal, set to the Aldebaran Ainamsa. I go to astroseek.com, go to the sidereal charts. Set it to the star of Aldebaran, because that's the only fixed star that they have an Ainamsa for. Everything else is going to shift. Even the Nakshatras, I find, give different, they have 3 different, no, that's not even, they have 3 constellations, but the constellations aren't, they're measured according to even 30 degrees, and that's not accurate. In the Pluto position, now's the time to get in touch with your more primitive and direct feelings. Yep, what did I say? You need to know exactly how powerful you are. This card position shows a need for a period of self-nurturing. You have a poetic, exquisitely sensitive imagination. You yearn for a life of beauty and elegance. It's likely that you're experiencing problems with early attachments or outworn attitudes. Family life demands your attention, but take the time to nourish the child within, because that's what is at the fore of all of this. So if we connect all of that to what you need to do in this King of Swords position, right? The King of Swords needs that perspective from your inner child. Go back to the beginning of that Ace of Swords. Let's see. Should we start off? Let's start off with this one.